What's something you can't believe you had to explain to another adult? Was tipped a $20 bill to be spilt between myself and a coworker. I handed her $10 I had in my pocket and took the $20. She said it wasn't fair that I had $20 and she only had $10. I tried to explain to her that I already had the $10, so another $10 equaled $20. She couldn't wrap her head around it, insisting I was trying to rip her off. She gave me back the $10, took the 20 to a register and made change of two $10 bills. As she hands me mine, I showed her that now I still have $20 and she has $10. But somehow she was satisfied she'd thwarted my attempts to shortchange her. Needless to say, I didn't stay friends with her after that. This is made all the more ridiculous by the fact that she had once told me she was forced to repeat grade 12 math class because she got 100%, and the teacher accused her of cheating. The following year she got 98%. I'm thinking something fishy is going on there. In regards to the North and South Poles, neither is the one that is always hot. Yes sir, when you sign up for insurance you're agreeing to pay for it. That no matter how much you might want to put a camo pattern on your walls, you, not the paint, have to determine what that pattern looks like, and you will also have to purchase multiple cans of paint tinted differently because camo doesn't come out of a can that way. Why a room below sea level on a cruise ship would not have a balcony? I had to explain to my friend that the earth wasn't 1019 years old. I once had to explain to a college friend that Indians didn't have spices running in their blood that allows them to eat spicier food. That Earth has one moon, the new moon on the calendar every month, confused her. Had to explain to my wife that pickles were made of cucumbers. She didn't believe me, still not sure she does. That Halloween has never and will never fall on Friday the 13th. It was my mom. That oil isn't easier to get in the Middle East because you only have to drill through sand. I had to explain to my mother that mussels are meat. A piece of meat was tough, and so I must have said something about what part of the cow the mussel came from. No, we weren't eating mussels, we were eating meat. She was sickened by the concept that anyone would eat mussels. Somehow this got to the point of her claiming that humans didn't have any meat on them because they aren't food. I did not win that argument. Humans have no meat. Meat is not mussels. Period. Oh, it turns out people are not part of the animal kingdom either. It was a dismal childhood. I had to explain to a teacher, in front of her class, that a penguin was a bird. I didn't want to be like that, but she was adamant that if it didn't fly, it wasn't a bird. When a smart bomb strikes a building and blows it up, it doesn't just kill the bad guys, it kills everyone in the building. Smart only means it's going to hit the building instead of a random location. Don't bring your dog to work and let her pee poop on the carpet. Tiny poop and little puddles are not okay just because they are tiny. She weighs 4 pounds. He said she's so little it doesn't matter. He said he never even notices at home, and if I had a dog, I'd feel differently. Have a dog. Still don't want urine and feces in my carpet, at home or at work. Told my roommate that if he cooked food on less than the highest level of heat, he wouldn't burn as much food, and would generally have more success. A week later, I explained to him that when he was just boiling water, high heat was okay. Turn off the high beams for cars traveling in the opposite direction. My mother told me nobody can live on $40,000 USD a year, and I was unable to get her to understand that it is pretty normal to make $40,000 or less, and people do fine with that salary. My friend worked at Office Depot and had to explain to a customer why he couldn't make him photocopies of a $20 bill. Well, sir, it's not illegal to serve food that tastes bad. No, this isn't a police issue. Canada is part of North America. Had to explain to someone that islands don't tip over if you put too much weight on the edge. There are more than 6 bones in the human body. She thought it was head, back, arms and legs. As a server, there are so many times I have to explain to guests that chicken can't be cooked medium rare. That drinks have caloric content. A coworker was complaining how she was having trouble losing weight and didn't realize drinking 4 hot chocolates a day was not really conducive to weight loss. Press up when you want to go up in the elevator and down if you want to go down. He thought you had to guess where the elevator was, and if it was under you, let's say, you had to press up. She's an educator. It was one of those days where Mars was super bright. She was super sure the moon was Mars, and suddenly it was super visible and close to Earth. Like, it came super close and fucked back off overnight. No, you should not perform an auto vasectomy at home. You should see a doctor for that. To make pasta you have to boil the water. That dinosaurs existed, and that the king and I is not the story of Moses. My wife and I had to explain to the neighbor that our dog is part of our family, and no, they can't just have him. Their kids wanted our dog, which was cute, until the mother also decided that she wanted our dog and it was only fair that they got to have him on the weekends because we get to have him all week long. My dad had like 6 or 7 paid recurring charges for internet porn and a lot of malware on his computer. I had to explain free porn to my 67-year-old dad, so that was something. You shouldn't iron your clothes while you're wearing them. One guess as to how this came up. There's a girl I used to work with who didn't know submarines actually existed. I work with this guy who thinks that average precipitation is, like, some sort of quota that nature is obliged to meet. For example, if it's a particularly dry summer, he thinks it will just rain a lot in the last few days before summer ends. That power tools need to be turned on in order to work. You can still get diarrhea even if you believe in Jesus. New Mexico is a state. You have no idea the number of people that believe we are a part of Mexico. I was flying back home from overseas with a friend, and I said something about how it was a bummer we couldn't bring fresh produce back. She asked why we couldn't, and I explained you weren't allowed to bring plants when flying crossing borders. He thought it was absurd that I would consider a piece of produce, for example, an avocado or mango, to be a plant. It became a pretty heated argument. That you can't get AIDS through sexual intercourse if you don't already have the HIV virus inside your body or your partner is carrying it. A guy I talked to once thought that gay men got AIDS simply by having gay sex, and that the disease just spontaneously appeared through the act of interanal insemination. I don't even think that he understood the concept of a virus. My mom asked me why you couldn't see the borders of states when you were in an airplane. Edit. My mother is a wonderful, unbelievably caring person. She just got a shit 1950s Catholic education. 6 inches isn't 0.6 of a foot. She had been slowly, unknowingly, overcharging our company for materials for years. Had to explain to someone in college that 3 seconds of dish soap was not necessary for each plate you wash, as in he would turn the dish soap upside down, and squeeze for 1, 2, 3, 4 each plate. That I couldn't just go to the bathroom and pee my period out to be done with it. He was about 19-20 at the time and obviously didn't have sex education, been married 25 years. He will never live that down. How to use a new type of electric hand drying machine, mounted on the wall, in a public men's room. The guy tried everything to make it work, other than following the simple instructions on the hand dryer. It even had arrows pointing the way where his hands should be inserted to activate it. That the North Pole is an actual place on the planet and not just a mythical place where Santa and his elves live. Also had to explain that the South Pole is real. Granted, they did not think Santa is real, but they also didn't believe me flat out about the poles. They first argued saying I was crazy and then googled it. Scenario 1. Them. So where are you from? Me. South Africa. Them. Wait, what? Aren't you supposed to be black? Me. Yeah, no. Scenario 2. Them. So which country are you from? Me. South Africa. Them. Yeah, but which country? Me. Yeah, I just said South Africa. Them. Come on, do just tell me the country. I know where South of Africa is. Me. No. Actually, South Africa is a whole country. That Australia and India do not share a border. That you cannot convert between square meters and cubic feet without additional data. Square meters, cubic feet. That all babies, including the first one after marriage, take 9-10 months to develop. Just because the first one comes along in under 9 months, doesn't mean that it takes less gestational time. I was in my mid-20s, and she was several years older. You can't use an electric blanket to dry your bedsheets. Had to explain to a 40-year-old woman that the clitoris and pee hole are different.